Hey guys, it's me, Trina Emalucci, and welcome to My People Podcast. And I'm here with my co-host and best friend
and sister Mona.
So today, what are we talking about, sis?
We're talking about Mommyhood Unveiled. Unveiled.
I thought it was Mommyhood and challenges.
That too. It's still a challenge. I mean,
we got to be talking about motherhood in general. And just exploring the realities of motherhood, being single, being married, being ever present, and the question that everybody be like, is it ever too late? Like if you haven't had kids by 30, because I'm one of those people who had kids after 30.
So sorry for you.
Oh, wow. But we're going to touch on a lot of different things. And I still want you guys to send us in questions. Because we do want to, get into some of y'all questions, which I have about some of the topics that we're talking about, or even send us some topics that you would like to hear.
Yes. And want to thank everybody that's coming in and joining in with us. Thanks, Samaya. I think there was a Julius on here, but he's not on here anymore. But hey, y'all. I'm going to try and shout y'all out, when I see ya. But, so what are we, talking about, the beginning challenges or... I
guess we could talk about first becoming a mom. Like, how old were you when you became a mom?
Ooh, it was such a long time ago.
We could start with that.
I was 18. I was 18 or 19. No, I think I was pregnant at 18, but I had a baby at 19. And that was a extreme shock for me because I wasn't expecting or didn't want to have children that early.
Really?
But I was jumping up and down, so that's what you get.
Now she jumped up and down.
That's what my aunt used to say.
Was you scared?
Yeah, but I was more scared of telling my mama than I was scared of actually
just being pregnant. But he was already 18 though and had graduated school.
Yeah. But still.
And in college.
And when we grew up, it was like a no. You didn't get pregnant before marriage and all that things, all those things. So it was kind of like a taboo thing.
True.
But I don't know. I think back when I was growing up or teenager or whatever, I think it was starting to be like teenage pregnancies and all that stuff like that. So it wasn't too of a big deal. People was having babies at 15, 16. So I can't trip out about that. But
that era had normalized. It's okay to have a baby when you're 15 or 16.
Yeah, it wasn't okay. It was just it was happening.
It was just happening.
We were being fast and and I don't know, not cautious or whatever. So, but yeah, that happened and it was a big shock for me. I think it was more of a shock for me that the father was no, denying it or wasn't me and all this. And I'm like, maybe I was only with you, so it got to be you.
Yeah, that'd be the part.
And that was
I think dealing with that.
Yeah, and I'm so ornery or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was like, well, forget you, nigga. I'm gonna have my baby, and we gonna be good. We gonna be fine. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. As Black women, that's what we do. We do what we gotta do because we can't. I mean, you can, get rid of it or whatever if that's your decision to make, but. Growing up in the type of family that I grew up, that wasn't an option for me. It was always, I'm going to have my baby or whatever, unless it was a medical reason.
Right.
Or things of that nature. But yeah, I was scared once I actually committed to it and all that stuff like that. But I don't know. I wasn't scared to the point where I felt like I was going to be nervous or I just thought I was going to do what I had to do.
Just thought you were going to do what you had to do.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the first thing you find out you're pregnant. You're like, what? Because I was pregnant, I think when I was 19 too, when I got pregnant. But I was so sick, almost near death, that I didn't care about nothing. I just wanted to live. And after that sickness that I went through with that baby, I was like, I'm never having kids.
Oh yeah,
I was like, I'm never having kids. Don't want any. Don't care for it because not only was I sick, the baby's father was a total ass at the time. So it was like, I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to have no kids. I'm just over it. And then the doctor was already saying you're not having them. So I had just said in my mind, I'm never having them. So I didn't even revisit the kid thing until way later on in life. I think I was already 30. I was 30 when I had Dakota. When I had my first child, I was 30. And that was really scary. I went to the doctor, y'all, because it was so funny. I was with my brother. And he took me to the doctor because I was going to get my refill for my anxiety medicine.
Okay.
Yeah, and because I was like, I told my doctor, I was like, what, I'm feeling so nauseous lately. And he was like, well, maybe to change your anxiety medicine and put you on some new medicine. And I was like, maybe so. So I goes to the doctor, and he was like, well, before I give you a medicine, we always got to do routine, pregnancy tests. And I'm like, man, I am not pregnant. I know I'm not pregnant. I'm not having
And
no
why
kids.
you didn't think you was pregnant?
Because
Didn't you have unprotected sex?
Yes, but I was in a relationship. I had been in a relationship. No, because I had been in a relationship for years, and I mean, we ain't never had no kids. Like we was together for years. Like, man, it never happened.
Yeah, y'all was together for at least 2 or 3 years.
Girl, we was like 4.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all was together like 4 years?
We got together like when I got out the hospital with the first situation. Like a year later, that's when we started dating.
What?
Yes, we was together for a long time.
I didn't even know y'all were together that long.
Yes, we was together a long time. It was like,
okay, got it.
So anyway, girl, I go to the doctor, take the pregnancy test, and I had Eric waited. I said, well, look, I had to go use the bathroom again because I was waiting on them to come back with my test and everything. I had to go use the bathroom again. I went to go get me something to eat and come back. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, Eric, let me know what, when the doctor comes back so he can let me know my results so I can go and get my, my prescription. And so, girl, he come and say, girl, the nurse say she ready. So the nurse coming in, she said, baby, I can't give you this medicine that he was going to give you. Want to see, he's going to have to see what we can give you because you're pregnant. And I'm like, what? God, bust out crying. I bust out crying. I was like, oh no, God, y'all got to be playing. I got to take a blood test. Something. And it was like, girl, you pregnant? What? Girl, we was just in that just boohooing. And I'm like, no.
Goodness, I can see his ass.
Yeah, we just all lost. But later on, going through the emotions and getting over that and having her, I realized that baby was for me.
Right.
Yeah, it was for me.
You get to that point when you have that baby and you be like, and you just see their face or whatever. And they look up at you. She was it's just like everything that whatever you had as far as the fears and the uncertainty and all that stuff like that, it just kind of melts away. It
melts away. Even though, like you said, I had to deal with the baby father being different. Now that hurt. I mean, that was like a kick in the gut with him because I'm like, we've been together all these years and now you want to act like this? Like it was just. Yeah. When I say heartbroken, I was like, wow, like taken back. But let me tell you something.
And it's like, why do guys do that? Why do the male species do that? After you, because you and that person, did the do or whatever.
You made the baby together.
And I get that we scared. I think they should, admit that they're scared or not sure what to do and have a discussion, instead of just like
ghosting or not being present or available.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, like, I can't remember. I had talked to one of my friends and I was like, nobody gives you a manual to motherhood. No. Not even your mom. It's like nobody gives you this manual. It's like you gotta, and then for women, it's like it's automatically turned on. And some people don't get that.
That's what they think.
Yeah, to me, it's like I automatically went into this mode of like it's all about my baby. It's like I just went into this mode of like I got to do this for her. I got to make sure she has this. Whereas I think as men, it's not so easy. For them to jump in and just make that switch.
I mean, especially if you were kids. If you're kids or you're young or whatever.
But we weren't young, girl. We was up. We was in our 30s.
No, I was 40s. But I'm just saying, whenever you decide to have, because there's some people who plan pregnancies, and then there's some people that be pregnant and not knowing what to do. But I think the ultimate thing to do, of course, is to communicate. Communicate that. And I had you went into the relationship saying, are being protective and making sure that you don't get pregnant, then it would have been, planned and different. But you got to have some type of inkling that it could happen if you're having unprotected sex.
I mean, but then it's also, relationship and y'all, have discussed, well, what if? Everybody would say, okay, what if I get pregnant? Oh, yeah, baby, I got you. I love you. I want kids. All that. But then all of a sudden, no, you really didn't at the time.
Yeah.
And
that's a bit much at 30.
That is a big much at 30. And it was like really just heartbreaking. Like, okay, you're supposed to be a mature adult. Like, what happened here? Like, it's like it really just shows you how immature some people really are mentally, and spiritually when they could do something, something like that. Yeah. And then that's a whole other podcast because my daughter, she's grown now and she got her own, testimony with that. But we talked about when we first had our first and then so single. So I lived a little single life. You lived a little single life for a while. How was that being single with a baby?
I mean, once I had her or whatever, I mean, there were some times that were challenging, you know, because her father wasn't in her life. Like, I didn't have the help, but I had family. I had family. I had friends. Like, my friends would take my child. You know, I just.
Oh, and my daddy was obsessed.
Yeah, and
my
then I had my daddy there
so
too.
obsessed
So
with
he
her.
was like, I mean, that part, I never worried about her being taken care of.
Right.
But just me just starting out and not having money that I wanted to do. Like I had to get on WIC and I had to get what's the stuff they give you, you know, like some little money or whatever. I had
TANF, I think that's
TANF for some crap. I had to do that for a little while because I wanted my baby to be cute and dressed up and fat and plump and eating well. You know, I wanted her to be, you know, good because we grew up around babies and stuff that, taking care of people's kids and stuff like that. So we didn't taking care of her and all that stuff never was a, you know, I wasn't scared of that part, but just you know, wanting her to be well off and her well being and stuff like
financially.
that, financially and stuff like that. Now, when she, you know, they don't warn you about when they get sick.
Oh Lord,
you know, and there were some times she scared the hell out of me. You know, I remember one time she had just finished eating or whatever, and you know how babies throw up, spit up, and all that. That's all normal, whatever. But this particular time when she threw up through her nose.
Right.
And so she was choking.
Oh my God.
And I was like, did not know. I did not know what to do. I was literally hollering and screaming, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I was supposed to hang her upside down. I didn't know what to do, you know. I was just trying to help her.
It's my mama.
And all kinds of stuff. Well, I mean, we made it through or whatever. I don't know. My reflexes went off or whatever. It did whatever. And then I remember when I first brought her home and you be so tired.
You do.
After childbirth.
You be tired. You be literally.
Yeah, you literally are tired, and you just you don't know what to expect, but you know that baby got to be fed every 2 to 3 hours and stuff, and that baby you try to get some sleep when they sleepy, but what if you ain't sleepy? You know what I'm saying? And then she was just on her 2-3 hour days, you know, 2-3 hours sleep and eating whatever. And so one day she was just up and she did not want to go to sleep. And she was literally wanting to laugh and play. And I was so tired. I was exhausted. And my mama was like, I'm not taking her no more. Because mama had her like for a couple of days.
Yeah, mama was not playing. She was that grandma. Them your babies.
Yeah. I had like a few little stitches. So it was like getting up and stuff was kind of like bothering me. Like to go warm up a bottle and all that stuff like that. I think daddy or somebody bought me a little bottle warmer too. After that. But, and so I'm crying.
You crying?
I'm boo-hoo crying. She laughing at me. The baby Empress is literally laughing at me and googling and gaga, and I'm crying because I want her to go to sleep because I'm sleeping.
Right.
And so that was like my first like motherhood like woes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then the next time I can remember is getting her shots. Oh my God, I hated that. I did not like having to get her shots and stuff like that. She was crying and stuff. I kept thinking like, baby, this is just the first of many hurts and pains. You know?
Right.
But yeah, it was like I just remember like little certain things that kind of bothered me. You know, I can remember it right off. And then I think one time she was outside playing with her daddy, playing with my daddy or whatever outside or whatever. And I think he was trying to get the ball out the tree with a.
I remember that with a 2x4 and it fell on her head
and hit her in the head. Oh my God!
I remember that.
It was just like all these things or whatever that you go through, and you never was that afraid in your life before, you know, until you think, you know, you're gonna lose your child or whatever.
I think children is like you see your heart just out there every day.
Somebody said that's your heart walking outside your body.
Yeah, because it's like you be on edge about everything. And I think I never realized how hard it was to watch it until I got married and had my second daughter and my son, because they all like a year and 9 months apart. So all of a year and 9 months apart. So having them as all little and all together, and then having to like put the oldest in school, because I was always like afraid that someone's gonna touch my baby or hurt my child, and just dealing with like as they was going through their life, you know, things, going to school, interacting with people, getting bullied, and me and their daddy was like on it every time they needed something, we was just like there. And so it was just so scary, you know, just like letting go. Like, I think, you know, for them to become their own individual selves. Right. And it's still hard now, you know, as they, you know, as they getting older, they going out into the world by themselves now because they all, you know, getting grown. But I was a single mom for a very short period. My baby was like 4 months old when I got married. But just for that little short 4 months that we spent together, before I even got married, I was planning on to move to Georgia. I was like, okay,
Yeah, I remember you
I
said
need a new
that.
life. I don't want to be in Houston anymore. I just want to go to Georgia and, do makeup and just start me a new life for me and my child. And my mom was like, how you gonna move to a whole other state with a child and do all this? And I was just like, I just needed a fresh start because, when you're dealing with a new child, you're dealing with hurt. I was embarrassed. I was like, I got a baby. No man gonna want me with no child. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never wanted to be a baby mama. I wanted to be a wife and a mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
I was dealing with a whole lot of mental things. And I felt like I just need to just go away,
Right,
from
right, right.
everybody.
Get well.
Yeah, that's how I was thinking single. And then, when I met my husband, he didn't even believe me I had a baby. First of all, he thought I was lying. He said, I thought you were just saying that because you were trying to run me away. Because I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
I got a baby. You sure you want to date me? And he was
Right,
like,
right.
I think you was just lying. He said, because I was looking at your body. It looked like you ain't had no baby. I was like, boy, shut up. But then, he met I guess after maybe 2 months, we started dating or whatever. I finally let him meet my daughter. He like instantly fell in love. And he was like, well, I ain't never had no kids. And I was married for 10 years. I ain't never had no children. So,
Oh, he been married before?
yeah, he was married before for 10 years. And he
I
never
did
had
not know
kids.
that.
And he was like, so look at God send me a wife and a baby. That's how he was looking at everything. And when I
That's
tell you guys,
crazy.
he spoiled the hell out of that little girl. Like, he really felt like he was not going to have kids. So that was his everything. And when I got pregnant again, I was like, okay, well, God. Because, see, now, y'all, I'm dealing with this situation like, okay, I've been told I cannot have children.
Oh, yeah, right.
Medically, I should not be having kids because how my body is set up, in that area. Like, don't do that. That's dangerous. But God bless me with a child. You know what I'm saying?
So now you in a marriage.
Yeah.
With kids.
With kids.
So how
and that dynamic changed.
How does that?
Because then, so when you marry, you got to deal with structure. No, that's when structure comes in.
That's when you should bring it in.
Yeah, that's when you should bring it in. But that's because I had an unstructured life. I do what I want to do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it. When you're single, when you marry, you got to consider other people's feelings. And then what kind of structure you want to set up for the children. My husband, he was all private school, and I'm like, that is expensive. And I like to shop, and I'm like, this was messing with my shopping money. But it didn't. Thank God, it did not. But it was just a lot of things you have to structure, like, and also what type of not image, but what type of example do you want to be for your kids? That's another thing that I never thought about until I got married. Like, what type of example I want to be for my kids? How do I want my children to look at me and accept me as their mom? And then what type of things that I want to instill in my kids and the foundation that I wanted to set for my kids. And I wasn't really thinking about that until one day, I think Dakota had the oldest had started talking, like more. Yeah. And he was like, you know what, babe, we really need to sit down and figure out like how we want to, rear our children. Never really thought about that because we both came from different backgrounds as far as how we were raised. And he was so adamant about, I'm not raising my kids how I was raised. I'm not doing it. I want my kids to have so much better than me. And I just want, mentally, physically, and financially. But, I'm over there thinking like, I had the most best childhood in the whole wide world. You know what I'm saying? Not really just realizing some of the things that I lacked that I could have been done better or in a better way or been more present. Then, so those are the things that, we had to work on, not delving into, oh, my mama did this or my daddy did this, but just trying to figure out what do we want to do.
Yeah, because I think the difference between now and then is like, I feel like more parents are into more of, teaching their kids, whereas back in the day it was just about us, raising them, making sure telling them. And telling them and making sure they got, clothes on their back and a roof over their head, and that was like they were taken care of, and not really knowing who your child is. You know what I'm saying? Not really having those conversations with your children or whatever.
Developing a relationship.
Fears, or what they, their challenges and stuff like that. Because we was hush hush, you don't talk about these, you don't talk about that. Because I think a lot of things I could have prevented had you had that conversation.
Yeah, had you had that conversation.
So not being afraid to have a conversation.
Yeah. And we talked about that too. Like, as my kids got older, I don't know. I just feel like, that's another conversation. Maybe we should get the kids involved into a podcast, like really ask them how they felt about growing up, with a mom, with us, as moms or whatever. Because it's like with my children, my whole goal is just to be more present. And sometimes I think I could come off a little pushy because it's like if my child's like, "Mom, I want to do this." Okay, girl, let's go do it. Mm-hmm. But I got that from my daddy. Like, don't tell my daddy you want a business. Or don't tell him you want to do something because maybe tomorrow we doing it. Like, it's like, what you waiting on? And I know I get that from him because like I feel like I was just pushing them into doing things sometimes. Like, okay, this is what you should be doing. But then I had to reel back and be like, okay, what is it that you want to be doing with yourself, with your life? This is like my as they get older.
They are still kids.
Yeah, they still kids, but they also have to become individuals because if you keep, I don't want to say dumbing down children, but if you keep spoiling or you keep trying to direct them, what are they going to do when they get older and get off on their own if you don't let them become individuals, but also guide them, like give them some skills, some skills to, when they walk outside the door.
That's how they teach you stuff even in school. They give you the basics. It's up to you to build on it and things like that. But yeah. For sure. So how did you navigate that with intimacy? Because now you're not only you're a mother, you're a wife now. So I know those are challenges and stuff like that.
So one thing with intimacy, I did after that third child, I got them tubes tied.
That is not intimacy.
I'm just playing. I didn't want no more kids, y'all, because I'm like, they telling me I don't no kids, but I feel like I'm Mother Hen over here for some reason.
Enough.
But yeah, I was like, okay, we're gonna end that. And then, one thing I have to realize is that that was a blessing was that my husband, he was different. He was different because he made things like, I don't know, in the beginning of our relationship with kids, he made things fun. Like those kids was like literally his best friends. Like that's something he looked forward to playing with them. I don't know. It was like he developed this routine without us even talking about it. Like he used to come home from work and the first thing he wanted to do, okay, it's time to get the kids bathed. So we would do that together. Wash their hair. I would comb their hair, get them ready for the next. It was like this routine that was never talked about, but he developed from himself because he worked so late. It was like that was his time he had to spend with them.
Oh, okay.
So it became like routine. Our life, like this is the routine. He get off of work. We taking a bath. He wash them. I dry them. All of them get them dressed. It just became like our whole life's routine. How everything goes. So that little things just start happening like routinely. Like this is what we do. But we just like it's like a routine. Getting into that routine and getting into just standing on that foundation.
That helps.
All the time. Like being consistent with your children. Having conversations. Listening to your children. Because I felt like, had I had listening, had I had structure and guidance in some of the areas that I'm trying to be there for my kids, I even like a whole lot of stuff could have been avoided early on in life. Like different things that I wouldn't have done or said or went there. So with motherhood, I don't really know. Like I be wondering, like, what are people like? What are the challenges? Because what challenges like that really like got to you when it came to like your children
in a marriage?
Like
in the marriage?
I mean, just motherhood. Period. Because marriage, I think kids too be trying to turn parents against each other. When it comes to discipline.
Yeah, that's true. And I had that challenge in my marriage. Yeah. It wasn't him turning against, turning us against each other. It was more of you having to stand at a united front. Yeah. When he was done, when stuff was done wrong or I struggled with that challenges or whatever. and I didn't struggle with it, but I felt like his dad was a little bit more strict than I was, and then sometimes he needed it, but then it was overly done, or not necessary. Yeah. So in those areas, it was a big challenge for us. It would get us into a lot of arguments, to say the least. But even that was a challenge. Number one. Another one was teaching your kids boundaries. Yes. With you and your husband. Like, because they were so used to being around us or in the bed or whatever. And then when you was trying to be alone with your husband or whatever, don't come in this room, or some of them even walked in on me. You know what I'm saying? But now I never had that problem. That happened. I never had that problem. Like, oh my God! Now you got to have a whole other conversation. No, I never had that problem because, like when you said, what about the intimacy? Is because, like I said, we had a schedule. Like our kids stay on this schedule. Like, okay, they know it's time to eat and go to bed. So it was like, my kids went to sleep at a certain time. Therefore, me and my husband had time for ourselves, and it just continued to go on. And then how we interact with our kids, like to come to our room, knock on the door. They still do it today. Mm-hmm. If the door not open, knock on the door, and they still do it today. And so I'm like, why are you knocking on the door? Then we be like, why did that? But it's just so habit. Yeah,
You know, we have built,
that was a good habit.
and we have built, you know, structure
too.
like that. Thank God we never had none of them mishaps, but yeah, just developing, you know, like you said, boundaries and structure. But it all begins when they're small. I feel like starting out when they're little to build that foundation and structure is the best way instead of trying to get there once they start talking. Because you're like, oh, they don't understand. I'll just wait till
Yes,
they get
they
a certain
do.
age
They
to start
understand.
talking and, you
I
know,
never
understand
believed in
that.
that. What was you
Yeah. That's that baby language. Never. My kids were all reading at 3.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they, you know, is just not right or wrong, but I just feel like a kid's development should start at least at 9 months. You should start like
you should be talking to them the right way.
6 months. You know, when you see that attention span is captivating things, that's when I like you should start talking to them ABCs, reading to them, you know, stuff like that. You should start
talking to them when they come out the womb.
Well, I was talking to my babies in the womb.
In the womb, yeah, because people be thinking, baby, them babies be knowing exactly what you're talking about and all that stuff. I mean, they probably don't understand that it's words or whatever, but they can detect tones and they know we like you know they know.
Yeah, because people used to be like, my kids are so things like, I don't know, people like, do they always act like that? Or they just act like they're around people? I was like, no, they pretty much laid back. Like, sometimes my kids surprise me because I'm like, they were nothing like me as a child. Like, they were just so mellow. Like, just the mellow
kid. Don't let them have no Starbucks.
Don't let them have no Starbucks. But they was just mellow kids. I mean,
I think they are exactly how we were, and we were like chill kids. I mean, we could get crazy or whatever,
we gotta have fun,
each other or whatever. But in public, we knew how to act, and
it was to the point we would go out in public and they'd be like, "Oh my God, Mom, that kid is so bad." Yeah, you know, what are they doing? Yeah. Or they would be pointing out kids as being disrespectful. Like, oh my God, if I talk to Mama, but I'm saying that's why I started early discipline because I'm like, we're not gonna have that.
And a lot of people don't believe in disciplining their kids, but my thing is, there's ways to discipline a child. You know,
without beating them.
And, you know, it's other things. I mean, you can take things from them or make them stand in the corner, or it's things you can do where the child's life is not jeopardized. So we're not saying you're supposed to whoop and beat your kids and spare the rod and all that stuff. But you know how the Bible says.
I don't know how I feel about that old school whooping your kids at all times. Like, I have spanked my kids, hit them on the hand or something, but like, get a dang on belt and beat the head. No,
we got whoopings, but not like a lot of whoopings. I think our whoopings were deemed necessary.
Yeah, we done something really bad or something,
but not to the point where it was abusive. Like, I don't believe in that. You ain't got to be beating no child with stitching cords and all this stuff like that. It don't take all that. Sometimes half the time the child already knew they did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? So consequences of taking freedom from them or something like that is still punishment. So that kind of thing. I just think that parents need to really do a united front unless it's to the point where the child is being hurt.
And that's what I struggle with. I struggle with united front with my children because at one point, like in our marriage, like my husband, he had like picked up more work and was like out the house more often than me. So I had a lot of time with the children, especially when he made the choice that he was like, I really want you to be hands-on more with them. Like, I don't want you working no more. I just really want you to just be with them. Because he was like, I saw how it was with my mom working and how disconnected I was, which I thank God because the connection with my children are so tight. I love it. I love the connection I have with my children because I didn't have it with my mama, like that.
I just feel like we had connection like that with my mom because my mom didn't work like that.
My mom didn't work like that, but mama would disconnect from your cell in the minute when she didn't feel like being bothered. Like, I don't up in there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she do it now. She's like, you don't be getting tired of them. I was up under you, but I was up under you. I used to stay up under my mama. I love mama. I want to look like her. I wanted my hair to be long like her. I want to be pretty like her. I just was obsessed with my mama. But it's like, as I've gotten older, I've seen me being so active inside of their lives, how it has helped me and helped them because it's like they're so open with us. Both of us. Like, it's always a conversation like, Mom, Dad, I want to tell you this. Like, my kids are now like, what you doing? Who is that? I was like, Mom, this is this. Mom, I want to do this. Or Mom, how you feel about, it's always those conversations, which I have to give credit to my husband because he's more of the investigative conversation person. I was like, let's have a discussion. Let's talk. And, just enjoying, one another and also having that open dialogue that we are able to like talk with them and, and be comfortable because sometimes you be uncomfortable talking to your parents, about a lot of different things.
Feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges? You're not alone. That's why Trina and Mona, the hosts of the popular podcast My People, are proudly sponsored by BetterHelp, offering compassionate support when you need it most. With BetterHelp, you can talk to a therapist from the comfort of your own home or anywhere with an internet connection. It's convenient and affordable. Visit BetterHelp today and use the code MyPeople for 10% off your first month of therapy.
We can go on with this subject. And
so what about, because I know we're probably getting close to our little time that we needing to wrap up, but it says mommyhood hacks. Do you have any mommyhood hacks?
Yeah, be patient.
That's not a hack.
Yeah, it is a hack. Be patient. But
Can you do it? Because I can't.
So we did have a thing here about mommyhood hacks. I don't know any hacks. Like
share quick tips and tricks for listeners or experts.
So with my kids, I did used to have I used to make them cook with me. Get them involved in the cooking. Mm-hmm. Also, my mom is a crafter, so I used to get them, craft time to, get into different things they can develop. That's how I developed. My daughter know how to draw and paint. Mm-hmm. Dakota. Yes, she does. Well, both of them, Dakota and somebody are painters, and they both have two different techniques, and they love for crocheting. Just get involved with things that can keep them active. Because when you can keep them active, you go do some things that you want to do. That's what I'm saying? So I used to get them little activities to do. And also don't forget about self-care. Self-care is very important for yourself. I don't care if you get in your car and drive to the corner and back. I mean, it's I used to get in my car, my husband get me, girl, go somewhere. And I used to get in the car and drive around the neighborhood to go to my favorite little thrift store and just walk around, But then I used to be I'm so lonely. I miss my babies. Going
around the corner.
Yeah. So I used to get out. Make sure you take these kids. Yeah, just make sure you get some self-care. But that's the thing with me. I have never felt like I did not. I don't know. I don't have that feeling today. It's never a time I don't feel like I don't want to be around my children because I just enjoy them. They don't really be bothering me like that. And when they were smaller, maybe my little boy, he ain't a little boy no more. He a big boy, but King was just really clingy.
I felt like King didn't never want to go anywhere.
No, he didn't want to go. He didn't want. Yeah, he just wanted to be around my mom, and she spoiled him. He was no wrong in his eyes. She'll take care of that baby, But when he was little, it was I could not move without him, unless I was leaving the house. Because he didn't want to leave the house. He's not an outside. He's a very recluse person, but he's sociable. When he is out, he's very when he out, he's very. That's the one thing about my children. They keep to themselves, but when they out, they very sociable. And I think it's from just, us being around us and how we are. Mm-hmm. We introverts, but we outrovert. You know what you call it, introvert?
Yeah, you staying at home, but when you get out, you know how to be
introvert. We know how to, we're not.
I don't know if they're extrovert. They're extrovert.
I don't know, but
I don't know.
We know how to
handle themselves.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So that's just something that they
conversation. Oh, I'm just popping this gum. Y'all forgive me. But yeah, conversation wise, I had
mommyhood hacks. One of the mommyhood hacks I remember me having is that how when we used to cook their food or whatever for them to eat or whatever, because I think I fed my kids probably up to about 9 or 10 months, and then I was letting them grab their own food or eat their own food with their little forks and stuff like that. But one of the things I did that I knew that when certain cartoons came on, what I'm saying, I could put them down and they would watch them cartoons with their little snacks. I could go take my showers and stuff like that or whatever, especially because we was working in and out the house. You might be working today, I'm at home today. I might be at work anywhere. So it was things like that I used to do, get them little snacks or whatever, buy them. I shop for the week. That's how I used to shop. That's how my mama did us, so that's how I did. And I did it with they was, growing up too. And make sure they have all their snacks or whatever, so they could just go in and get their snacks and stuff like that. I think another hack I used to do, it wasn't really a hack, but what happened was they would go to bed around 9 or 10, right? I didn't care what time they went to bed. As long as they got up in time enough for school. Because as babies, you would make them go to sleep early. That means they would wake up early. Mm-hmm. But when my kids would go to bed, I let them go to bed between 9:30 or 10:30 or whatever, and they go to bed and they be waking up in time enough for them to go to school. Right. But I noticed that at the end of the week, they went to bed early.
On the weekend too.
On the weekend.
They still do that too.
8.
They grown 9. And they still be. I be it's Saturday. They in the bed at 10.
Before that. No,
Yeah.
they did before that. That was crazy to me. That was like literally crazy to me. What's another mommy hack I used to do? I don't know. I did like to cultivate they talents. So if I saw that they could do something, like Empress, she used to always be dancing around the house or whatever. So shit, I put her in dancing.
Right.
You know, Kayla was always hayan and all that, so I put him in karate. I mean, you just kind of got to pay attention to what your kids are doing, because that might be something that they could do, you know, later on in life, or they help them later on in life. You know,
key words you said: pay attention. Pay attention to your children.
pay attention.
Can't say enough. Listen to them. Make sure you have open discussions with them. Let them feel involved. You know what I'm saying?
In their life.
In their life, because some kids be feeling, you know, like my parents don't want to listen. I've met children, you know, throughout my life in different situations. They be like, you know, my parents don't talk to me. They, you know, work and they don't really have time for me. You know, I never wanted my kids to feel like that. Like I ain't have time for them.
I didn't either, but I felt like mine did, because I've always worked. I can't remember when I haven't worked. So that was kind of a challenge for me, just trying to. I remember I would have to leave from work, go pick up my son, take him home, and then go back to work. You know, or have to go way to a whole other city to pick him up, you know, from college, and then come back. You know, it was just, those were challenges for me that I had to do by myself, because his dad was always out of town. But that's when, you know, that's a labor of love.
Labor, love, and sacrifice. That's what motherhood is. Motherhood is all about laboring of love and sacrifice.
And doing your best. That's all you can do.
Yeah, do your best.
That's good enough. That's good enough
Doing
to
your
do your
best and make sure that your child make it to adulthood safely and effectively, and can be prosperous, and, you know, just live life to their best ability. You know what I'm saying? And setting those good morals and standards inside of them. And baby, put the Bible in your children's life. If nothing else, put God in their life. Make sure you're instilling, you know, the Bible in them. Make sure you're instilling God in them. Because I always tell my children, you know, nobody gonna love you like God love you, not even mama. And I'm like, when you walk out that door, I just want you to know nobody is going to treat you like you're treated inside of this house when you walk outside that door. So you always know where your tribe is. Yeah, and you can come back to it. So that's all I have to say on this subject for right now. If you guys want to continue talking about motherhood, you have some questions or some concerns, please put it down inside of our comments. And don't forget to subscribe and like.
I'm talking about subscribe and delight.
No,
delight in the Lord, but subscribe and like and share.
Share all that you can with your loved ones, because I know somebody is struggling with it.
And don't forget to, you know, put in the comments some subjects and stuff y'all would like to discuss with us, because we're trying to get it up so we can go live on YouTube and everything, and we can actually have a conversation with y'all.
So thank you for joining My People Podcast, and see you on the next one. Peace.